Welcome back. We are in our second conversation of the morning, and this one is all about the celebration of Pharmacy Week. We are joined by two pharmacists by profession. We have with us Ms. Beverly Coleman, and she is the Assistant Unit Manager of the KHMH Pharmacy. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we are also joined by Ms. Sharon Anderson, and she is the former Chief Pharmacist for the Ministry of Health. And she's also here representing the Pharmacists Association in Belize. Good morning, ladies, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So we are here celebrating and talking about the importance of pharmacists in Belize. Let's begin there. Why should we celebrate Pharmacy Week?
Well, pharmacists are special people, and pharmacy is a special profession. A lot of times, most times, when you hear people talking about their hospital experience, and I'm speaking from the hospital perspective, you hear about doctors and nurses. Doctors and nurses. Doctors and nurses are important. Those are the people who are at the front line. So those are the people you see. And so those are the people that you relate to. But you have people behind the scenes, like pharmacists. We have medical laboratory technicians. We have the housekeeping staff. Everybody is a part of this team. And we just want to highlight what pharmacists do, what we bring to the table. And I can remember once a reporter asked me at KHMH, where do pharmacists rank? So I said, I could not understand the question. And she explained, well, you know, well, first you have the doctors, and then you have the nurses, and then I said, this is not a ladder. It's a circle, because we're all a part of it, and everybody is vital to the team. And so Pharmacy Day and Pharmacy Week is just to make aware, emphasize what pharmacists do.
I would like to perhaps argue from the point of view of the reporter who may not have known better. Suffice to say that when you look at the healthcare sector, public and private, and the delivery of these services, pharmacists always seem to be in the background. So it's a natural thing that they would think, okay, well, when I go in, if it's accident and emergency, or if it's any other aspect of it that I'm seeking assistance with, you see doctors and nurses first and other support staff. Pharmacists may be the very last person when they have to take the prescription and go and find the pills or the medicine.
Yes, but, and this is why, as I said, we are trying to make aware what we do, because the doctors and nurses at emergency, you go in and they give you attention, they evaluate you, they treat you, you know, but the medication that they treat you with is what we provided to that unit for them to be able to treat you. And that is why I said the doctors and nurses, they're at the front line. That, you know, those are the people that patients see. But there are others, you know, who make their job easier. And pharmacists are, you know, one set of those people.
But you know, even beyond dispensing medication, there are some aspects to patient care that pharmacists provide, which is provision of advice when it comes to these very same medication that they consume. Let's talk about that.
Well, I would like to add first to what Beverly said. You come in with a pain, they do their CAT scan, they do all these interventions. But if they don't ease your pain, you have not achieved your goal. And that's where we as pharmacists come in, because as the medicine manager, the medicine is the most essential part of your health care, because that is where your treatment begins. Because after all the diagnostic tests and all that, and you're still in pain, the medication is where the effect actually takes place. So the management of pharmaceutical availability was even deemed a human right, because without that, the system has failed. Because how can you get treatment and relief? So that's the purpose of the medication. You know, so you asked another question that, could you repeat what you said?
Yeah, I was asking, well, I was asking for your comment on ways that pharmacists contribute to patient care beyond dispensing
Beyond
medication.
dispensing, we have to provide information to doctors, because even though we are behind the scenes, we are consulted. You know, we got to know what are the correct dose, if there's any interaction. So doctors that work with you closely as part of that integral part of the team would consult, and we have to provide those information. We also have to ensure that the medication is available and that it is safe and effective and it's of good quality. So those are our role to ensure that these things do take place.
Are we seeing a rise in pharmacists in Belize, would you say?
Every year, the University of Belize produces pharmacists. But for some reason, we still seem to be short of pharmacists.
There's
we
an
have
association though, correct?
Yes, we do have a Pharmacists Association of Belize.
Okay.
And once you become a registered pharmacist, you automatically become a member of the Pharmacists Association of Belize, right? But pharmacists, we have some pharmacists who of course have migrated. We have some pharmacists who have left the profession to go and study medicine. And so there is a constant need. The same as there's a constant need for nurses, there is always a constant need for pharmacists. And 5 years ago, we had no idea what was COVID, right? And so the workload just keeps increasing. From when I started at Carl Huchner to now, we have, just to name a few, we have started oncology services. We've started cardiac catheterization services. And so medications increase, the need for more pharmacists increase. So just looking at Carl Huchner and how in that little space that we have at Carl Huchner, services have grown. And when services grow, your staff has to grow as well, you know. It's interesting you brought up about, I think it was you said pharmacy care or something like that. Pharmaceutical care is a term that was developed, I think, back in 1990, I think. It's simply patient-oriented and outcome-based, simply that. And in 2014, the World Health Organization came up with the concept of a 7-star pharmacist, where we are we're leaders, we are lifelong learners, we are mentors. It's a whole wide range. We are no longer just seen as counting pills, right? We contribute to, as I said before, to a team. We attend rounds, doctor's rounds. So there is a pharmacist on rounds. So a doctor does not have to wait until the end of rounds to consult with the pharmacist. The pharmacist is there to advise, to guide. And so when you walk into a pharmacy, you have a prescription. The pharmacist just doesn't look at that prescription and starts to fill that prescription. That pharmacist has to look at that prescription and look at the dosage to make sure that it is the correct dosage. They have to make sure that if there are more than one medications on that prescription, to make sure that there are no interactions between the medications. The pharmacist has to be aware of what side effects those medications have so that they can advise the patient on what to do. So it's not what you just not what you see. There's a lot going on, and there are sometimes when we do have to consult with doctors about dosages that they wrote, or maybe we don't have a certain medication, but we have a substitute that they can use. So there's a lot going on in that in the background that you don't know about. And pharmacists are the last set of people before that patient leaves that health facility. And whatever the doctor has ordered, the pharmacist has to look at it, as I said before, and fill it and make sure that the patient understands what is being given to them and why it is being given to them. And we have laws that govern our profession here in Belize. And if we see something wrong on a prescription and we contact the doctor and they refuse to change it, we reserve the right to not fill that prescription. Because if anything happens to that patient and it is traced back to the medication, it's the pharmacist who will be held responsible.
Wow.
Let's circle back to the beginning of the conversation we're having. So we're extending it to Pharmacy Week from Pharmacy Day being celebrated on Monday.
Right.
Let's discuss some of the activities that you guys have planned for the remainder of this week.
Well, first I would like to say that the activities that we have planned for the week are the brainchild of one of my co-workers who insisted that she wanted Pharmacy Day or Pharmacy Week to be something big this year. And she made sure she sat down and she planned. Some point in time I was her sounding board. And so sometimes when I see her walking towards me, I'm like, God, what idea has she come up with now? But she was the person who insisted and persisted that we do something big this year for Pharmacy Week and Pharmacy Day. That person is Stacy Flores. So big up to Stacy. On Monday, on Sunday, we started the week with a church service at St. Martin de Porres, and we're thankful for the priest and the congregation at St. Martin's for hosting us. It was a very lovely, lovely service. On Monday, which was the World Pharmacy Day, we gave out care packages to our patients who were admitted at the hospital. Yesterday evening, this evening, and tomorrow evening, we are having continuing education sessions. As I said, one of the stars in the 7-star pharmacy is that we are lifelong learners. I believe that you learn something new every day. The day you stop learning is the day you die, right? So we are having continuing education sessions. The one yesterday evening was our psychiatrist at Carl Hushna, Dr. Denithia Osha. She delivered that one for us. This evening we will have Dr. Eric Bradley, who is an internist and a diabetologist. And tomorrow evening we will have Dr. Ramoncito Yakab, who is our oncologist. On Friday, we will have an award and recognition ceremony right at KHMH, where we will recognize our sponsors and pharmacists and companies who have supported us in pharmacy and continue to support us in anything that we do. And support the advancement of the profession in Belize. So that will be held Friday morning, 9 o'clock, right at Carl Huchner. And a big part of that ceremony is that we will be having the naming of our pharmacy department in honor of one of our managers who we lost in 2017, at the end of 2017. We lost her, and she has left a void, and no one can fill that void. She was a force to reckon with in pharmacy. She had vision, she had plans, she saw things that we didn't even see. She knew that the University of Belize was going to launch its bachelor's program in pharmacy, and she wanted each and every one of her staff members to go and get that bachelor's. I was against it. I was out of the classroom for 26 years. I was not going to be a part of that. I was done with school. I was too old, and I was one of the first ones who signed up. And so now everybody in at the pharmacy at Carl Huchner has gained their bachelor's degree or are on their way to get that bachelor's degree. And that is a vision that she had. So the pharmacy will be named in her honor. Her name is Marisol Melado. So that is one highlight of the ceremony for Friday morning. On Saturday morning, we will be having a 5K walk, beginning and ending at the Carl Huchner parking lot, and I invite all to join us. It will be headed by no other than Ms. Karen Rosito. She will do that for us. And on Saturday evening, we will have a staff appreciation dinner because we do all this work, and sometimes we don't say thank you to our staff. So we're going to make sure that we do that. And that is Saturday evening. And on Sunday, the Pharmacists Association of Belize will be hosting a pharmacy fun day at Grants Farm.
Wonderful.
Sunday morning. So
a week filled with activities.
Yes, definitely.
My last question would be to you, Ms. Sharon, because you were the former chief pharmacist for the Ministry of Health, and now you are just serving as a representative of the Pharmacy Association here in Belize. Is there anything that you would like to continue or to see progress in the pharmacy work that Belizeans do here?
Well, as she mentioned, currently I work I do a consultancy with a private firm, and she mentioned the oncology unit that came on board, and I find that as an area of great interest because the statistics are alarming as to the number of patients who are being diagnosed. And in the area of financing for the accessibility of these specialized medication, you know, I would want to press with the association to try and advocate for some sort of financial support for these patients because the medication are quite expensive, and it is heartbreaking to watch patients fundraise with side effects because after chemo some people are really flat out. So I would like to see a more focus in that area in terms of trying to alleviate that group of people to be able to have access to their medication without having to go through this fundraising and accessing of finances and all that to get the treatment that they need. You know, so that's an area that I would like to see expand a bit.
Okay. All right. Any last words?
If you would allow me, I would like to publicly thank our sponsors who made this week possible for us. The Belize Tourism Board, Digi, the T-shirt factory, Belize Bank Limited, Simon Kwan and Company Limited, Commerce Limited, Bradley's Imports, James Brody and Company Limited, Travelers Liquors, Jose Peraza, who is a pharmacist out in Belmopan, Karen Rosito, and KHMH.
Wonderful.
And KHMH for allowing me to be here.
Perfect.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. And we celebrate Pharmacy Week with you this week. We hope that all the activities go well, and we continue to appreciate our pharmacists here in Belize.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll learn more about the second annual Run for Jaguars. Don't go away.